All right, everyone. Well, it's my pleasure. It's an extra pleasure for me today to introduce Emmy Kissinger with Connect Well Social. Not only is she an awesome entrepreneur, she happens to be my cousin. So Emmy, we'll just turn it over to you. Tell us about Connect Well Social and what led you to deciding that this is what you wanted to do.
Yeah, so I have a little presentation that sort of talks through my whole story to entrepreneurship. It sounds like a lot of you are further along in your journey than me, but maybe it'll be fun to see a young pup and how I've come to own my own business. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here and go into present mode. All right, can everybody see?
Yeah, and I'm gonna change. Oops.
Or the
Right here.
click on, no. Oh, which one do you want?
I just
Maybe
want
you want that one?
this one, I think. Yeah, there we go.
And you drag that up in the corner.
All right, we're ready.
Okay, awesome. So here's a picture of me with my family, and my children have really been the driving force behind my business. I'll dig into that more as we go on, but that's why there's a picture of all of us together by my fresh new logo, which I'll also talk about in a moment as well. And feel free if anybody has questions or thoughts to share along the way, feel free to ask them. I'm happy to let this be a little bit more of like a discussion if people have thoughts or questions. So I was going to share my connection to Brooke, but she already did. So she is actually my husband's first cousin. So her mom is sisters with my husband's mom. We're far away. We're in Iowa. Well, at least it feels far away, but we get together, once or twice a year, Brooke, do you think?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So I'm the owner and founder of Connect Well Social. I own a social media management micro agency. I call it a micro agency because I always wanted to have the small town feel that I am the person who is the person behind the business. So that is why I call it a micro agency. So I help small town and small local businesses improve their presence on social media, grow their social media followings, and really increase traffic to their brick and mortar store or their online website through social media. I'm an Iowa native. We have backyard chickens and about half an acre that we do all kinds of fun Iowa farming things on with the kids. I love coffee, so I love the name of this group that we're here today with. I have 3 kids, and fun fact is that I am a trained and licensed school psychologist. I worked in the schools for 7 years, and over the past 4 years have transitioned to running a full-time social media management business. So I had someone on a meeting on Tuesday say, wow, that's a big jump. Psychologist to marketer. And we'll talk a little bit about that as I go through my presentation. All right, so this is the story of how I made that transition from working in the schools here in Iowa. I was commuting about 3 hours a day between getting kids to daycare and getting to the schools I was assigned to. So I knew that I needed to make some kind of a change. So this is me on the first day that I had my first real job interview. We lived in a little tiny apartment, and when I got home from that job interview, I found out I was pregnant. And so I accepted that job knowing that I knew that I would now have a tiny mouth to feed and that we would need to be close to my in-laws so that they could help us. So here I am. This is the first day on the job. I was a budding school psychologist, so excited to begin my career. Had never even imagined owning my own business, just wanted to get out there, help kids, be in the field and do good work. And then our little guy was born in November, and I remember telling my coworkers in the schools that I would definitely be the kind of person who wanted to get right back to work. I wouldn't like being at home. I was going to work on my thesis during my maternity leave. And I was so wrong. I wanted to stay home. I wanted to be with him, and it really crushed me to go back to work, but I didn't really see any path to doing anything other than what I was doing because I had student loans to pay, and I knew that uh, I just needed to keep working and doing my thing. And also I had a contract, so I had to go back anyway. So a few years later, our daughter was born. I was really grateful to have a long leave. She was born in March, and then I had the summer off, so spring and summer. And I thought that would be better, but I was wrong because I kind of got even more attached to her, and I wanted to stay home once again. And so at this point, I knew that I was not ever going to be able to do that again. If we wanted to have more children, I was going to have to find a path to being able to be with my children as much as I wanted to be with them, and also be able to provide an income for our family because I am the breadwinner. So I needed to be able to support us and continue to provide the standard of living that we were currently at. This is me on that fateful first day back to work after the long leave with her. So I kind of got into a really dark place, and I was sad and I didn't know what to do. So I met up with a psychologist, and she promptly diagnosed me with something that I didn't even know was real, even though I was a psychologist myself. And that term was adjustment disorder. I just could not get on board with the way that my life was, driving all around, working full time, feeling so kind of like emotionally struggling with all of the kids at work that were needing my support. And so it led to a lot of long days and really taxed out evenings. So again, realized I needed to make a change. And so I hired a coach. I started waking up every morning, decided I was going to start some sort of a side hustle. And so that was a really challenging time. Brooks had to bring up our challenges. And that was a really hard time for me because I had basically a newborn baby and decided I was going to grow a business. Plus I was working full time. So it was a crazy, crazy time. And so after I launched my little business that I just called Emmy Kissinger, sole proprietor, I had someone reach out and ask if I would be interested in managing their social media accounts. It was someone in Canada who had a little venture startup. And I said, I don't see why not. So I started doing it. It was 3 hours a week, and realized that my skills, my data analysis skills in the psych world, and my relationship building skills really lend themselves well to being able to write social media content and create graphics and be creative in that way. So after growing my business for 1 year working full time, and then I did 2 years part time in the schools, I finally had enough clients to actually make up my full time income as a school psychologist. So I took the leap. One of the scariest things I have ever done. I don't know if any of you have been there where you transitioned from full time work for someone else to running your own business. You've probably all been there, but it was a really big leap for me because I knew that failing was not really an option. If I didn't get my business to work, I was just going to be right back where I had started in the schools. So in June, shortly after becoming pregnant with our third little one, I launched my business full time and left my career, like I just said. And that's when, after Evie was born in December, so I have a newborn right now. She's 3 months old today. I launched my micro agency, Connect Well Social. The reason for doing that was because my customers and my clients really expected that I was the person kind of doing all of the things in my business. And now that I have 3 kids, I really needed help. So I have a VA who helps me. I have a copywriter who helps me out. They're both moms. And together we do our mom thing. We get all of the client content posted, and it's just a really fun time. But the guiding principle behind my business really is that I wanted to spend my time making more meaningful connections with my kids and my family. And so now I have continued to be guided by that with my clients. I really want my clients to be able to make meaningful connections with the people that they want to connect with through social media. So you're not going to find, I'm not an expert in chatbots or any type of really automation. Most of what I do is organic content, and that has been really powerful for the clients that I work with. So I just kind of went through that. And our overall mission is that we help your small business thrive through social media management that puts human connections first. I help all different kinds of clients. So I have 2 corporate clients. One is health benefits, the other is health tech. And then I also help local businesses around where I live. So quilt shop, a small company that makes aluminum trailers. My client that's the most fun is the liquor and gift store. And Brooke's aunts are all really big fans of a weekly Facebook Live show that we do where couple of guys, one of them being my husband, one of them being my father-in-law, taste beer and talk about it. And we have guests on the show. And it's just been a really huge hit in our community. It's really brought people together. So it's really been fun to watch that grow. So I help my customers with strategy support, coaching, done for you, growth and posting, copywriting, and ads management. And again, to highlight the challenges that I've experienced in my business, I just bought a sweatshirt. I work from the wild because my kids are wild and every day it comes with its new set of challenges. Sometimes I think, wow, it really would be easier to sit at my desk at my old job and just be in one place for 8 hours. But I know that's not really true to my spirit and my soul and who I am. And so every day is a whole different crazy adventure, but I wouldn't change it. And so here's some ways that you can get a hold of me if you'd like to connect. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. And I'm hoping that at the end of this, we can do a little giveaway as well.
Yes, we will definitely do the giveaway. Let me change this.
I'm going to stop sharing, Brooke. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, and then I'll change the view here. Maybe that's all we need. Okay. Emmy, so I asked this of everybody that is a spotlight speaker. What keeps you motivated? Running your own business is hard. You've got a life, kids. What keeps you motivated or gets you perked up?
Definitely client successes are really huge. That definitely keeps me perked up for sure. What keeps me motivated is coffee and also I would say mindset work. So being a psychologist, the imposter syndrome comes in often where I'm like, am I really qualified to be doing this work? I don't have a background in marketing. Everything I do is self-taught. So coaching has been really helpful for me. I've been working with the same coach for about a year and we just do 1 call a month. But it helps me to kind of work through the negative stuff so that I can keep going down the path. Because if I didn't get past those mindset challenges that I have, I think it would be really challenging to keep going.
Definitely. Can you talk a little bit about when you made the decision to hire your virtual assistant and then what that process looked like?
Yeah, definitely. So I hired my virtual assistant 1 month out from having our most recent baby in December because I knew I needed to keep running my business. Social media doesn't stop just because I'm having a baby. So I needed somebody to help me during that transition. And I knew I wasn't going to take any kind of like true leave from the work that I was doing, but I just needed somebody to kind of like help me keep things going if I, had a doctor's appointment or was actually giving birth, that type of thing.
And so was there a service that you used to find this person or how did you go about that?
Okay. So I think there's always a little bit of controversy around this, around whether you should work with your friends and acquaintances or not. And I have had really, really phenomenal luck working with other moms in our community. So if I ever meet a mom who's kind of like, oh, I would love to be able to kind of do something from home on my own schedule, which was exactly what I wanted to be able to do. I knew that like truly would have changed my life if somebody had given me that type of opportunity. So I try to do that for other moms. And so the virtual assistant that I have and the writer that I work with, both are just moms from our community that I knew prior to needing their help. And I just kind of reached out to them and was like, hey, do you want to do this? And it's worked out really, really well for me so far.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's open it up for questions from our studio audience here. And Jody too. Yes, Jim.
You mentioned you were gonna say something about your logo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yes. So I really struggled with like the whole branding thing, because my business was just kind of my name. And so I didn't know if I should leave it that way or if I should actually create a micro agency. But then after I kind of realized that I would have to step back a little bit from my business as time went on, I decided that I really wanted to have a brand and an agency that people could connect with. And so I hired someone who could help me with that because I realized I couldn't just make a logo myself. I had tried just DIY branding so many times and it hadn't worked out. So she helped me find, she actually drew the logo that I have now for my business. And I'm just so proud of it. I'm so proud of my website. I feel like it has just made such a huge difference to have a brand and a presence online that has, that really connects with who I am and what my business is all about. Good question. Thank you.
Thank you.
What kind of things do you do when you said your 3 kids at home to manage the chaos? My wife and I have 3 kids and we need all the help we can get.
Yeah, so the biggest one, I guess, is time blocking. I have a couple days a week where my mother-in-law watches my kids while I work from her house. That way I can kind of take care of the baby and work, but pass her off if I have a meeting or a speaking engagement like this one, which this is my first one. So maybe more will come in the future. So yeah, to having the extra help, having the support. Other than that, like I try to check email and check in with different things on my phone frequently because otherwise I have kind of some anxiety about whether people are trying to get a hold of me while I'm making a lunch or making a snack or getting somebody down for a nap. And then, lots of different systems types things within our homes. We have like an art drawer set up that's been really helpful. So I can say if I'm on a meeting, go get some paper and pens out of the art drawer, or go get something, that you can do on your own for a little bit while I manage this situation until I can help you. The phrase I always use in my house is I'm not available right now. The other day, my daughter told grandma, I'm not available right now.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You were saying that you found a coach. Basically, I'm kind of in that muggy spot where you take a couple steps forward and you get knocked back like 5. So just finding that motivation. Like even today, I was like, I'm getting in. I'm going to the office. Like I'm going to Perk up Thursdays. I got to my son's daycare. And they were like, there's a funny smell in the building. We're closed today. I was like,
Oh, no.
yes. So he is watching a movie.
I love that you brought him. That's perfect.
But I'm just trying to, I guess, get more information on like what type of coaching you're talking about and like what kind of expenses that brings in, or like, is that a business expense that you would say, are you paying for that personally? And then like, what kind of money are we talking? Because you said like once a month you guys have a call or something. So if you can elaborate on that a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. So when I first started my business, I hired a very high-end coach who was able to help me really grow kind of quickly. She taught me some lead generation strategies that allowed me to get some clients really fast so that I could kind of get off the ground. Since then, I've invested in kind of less costly coaching that I can do every month rather than one package where it was like 4 calls in 1 month. We just meet the once a month. And that's around $300 a month, which I feel like is pretty doable. Let's see, your other question was, what was your other question?
So what type of coaching is like
Oh, yeah.
specifically you're looking
Yep.
and where do you look?
So it is a business expense, definitely, and it's a mix of mindset and business coaching. So you could find somebody who's strictly business and working specifically on business strategies, or someone who's going to also help you through some of the struggles of being a mom and an entrepreneur and the imposter syndrome and all of that stuff, because it's all kind of wrapped together for me, for sure. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
I've just found coaches in Facebook groups. People are always posting about their service offerings on social media. And I would just say be really careful in knowing that you truly resonate with that person that you're going to work with, and making a small investment with them first before you jump into a big package is probably smart too, to make sure that they're going to help you get on the track that you're wanting to be on.
Thank you.
You're using social media to find help on doing social media.
I also know where you might be able to find a coach, Jessica.
I think more of the, like, in regards to lead generations and the business model part of it, that part is fine. I think it's just kind of, I don't know, I'm just kind of in a mental, so just kind of getting over that hump and having that motivation. So
Let's talk. I've got some
pep her
resources.
up. You can perk me up.
Yep. I've got resources for you. Anyone else?
Great questions. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it.
Emmy?
Yes.
Something that just based on something that's come up in my life as a business coach. Have you ever had to say no to a potential client? Because I find that really difficult, and I don't know how other people have handled that, because we all want as much business as we can get, but sometimes you alluded to there has to be a good fit. Have you had to say no? And if so, what was that about?
Yeah, I have definitely had to say no. I've learned how to watch for red flags, and even now it's still, you still like ignore a tiny red flag, and then you look back and you're like, oh man, I should have paid more attention to that one thing. But yes, I have had to turn clients down before, and typically those situations are when the expectations of what social media can really do for your business is not aligned with the services that I offer. And so the analogy I always like to use is, if someone thinks that social media is just going to be like a faucet that turns leads and support on for your business, that is not a good fit. That is not what I do. What I do is I am helping you build relationships with people that are going to last a really long time. They're customers who might not come in for a while, but sometimes one post can lead to a customer 2 years down or 2 months down the road. You just never really know. So mainly, like with my real estate client, for instance, really what we're doing is promoting the personalities of the different agents that they have within their business, so that people who connect with those different personalities are going to want to hire them to be their real estate agent. So it really has to be a match in terms of expectations, and then also it has to be a match in terms of time commitment, I guess. So I had one client last year. She has a really, really big brand. She's a national author. I was so excited to be able to potentially work with her. But I realized after 3 calls of getting to know each other that she wanted somebody who could be in her business all the time, sort of like in the chat, on the Zoom. And again, that's just not really what I do. I'm actually mostly taking care of my kids during the day and posting and running my business in the cracks in between. So it wasn't a good fit, and I had to tell her that, and it was really hard and kind of heartbreaking, but I knew it was the best thing for both of us.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a question. So I mean, normally when I think about social media, I'm thinking about posts that are going out to like a wide range of people. But then you're also talking about genuine connections. And normally when I think about genuine connections, I'm thinking about like a one-on-one conversation. I don't know. I mean, how do you? But you're going after both of those things. So I mean, or how are you striking that balance? Or
yeah, I think that's a great question.
At the same time?
So for my corporate clients, what that looks like is a few times per month posting about how we do lunch and learns and how we do like coffee chats. So helping to generate those one-on-one conversations through social media. And then also with some of my small town brands that I work with the quilt shop, for instance, or the liquor store, it's really about letting the community members know who is the face behind the store, so that when they come in, they really know, like the manager is Maria, they know her, they know about her grandkids, they know all these things about her from social media. And so there's already like a huge connection that's built up between them, and they can just strike up a conversation right away. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
While we're talking about that particular customer, so you mentioned that you guys do a weekly Facebook Live show, and tell me about what your goals were when you started that, how it's maybe transformed. I know a lot of people are intimidated by going live on Facebook, and they think it has to be, you know, some perfect production, but just tell us a little bit more about this show.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so the show started 3 years ago now. It's been going on. When we first started, we had no real intention. Like, I was just like, you know, you need to do more live videos. That's oftentimes a place that I start with my clients, because live videos are going to get you so much traffic to your page compared to any other form of content that you're posting. So I was just, you know, doing videos here and there on the store. And my husband came home one day because he works at the liquor store on the weekends just as a hobby. And he was like, I think me and Dad should just like taste a beer on there sometime and just like talk about it. And I was like, yeah, let's call it Beers from the Wren's Nest, because that's what they call it. That's what they call the space where they sit, where people can have coffee and have a drink in the store. And so we did one, and people just loved it. And so we kept going, and we're about to launch t-shirts for it now.
Oh, that's fun. I'll be buying one.
It has its very own logo, and we go live every Friday night. I think we've only missed one because of a snowstorm. And we get between 500 to 2,000 views every week. We do giveaways. It's just been huge for their brand. And so it's so fun. I'm the one who I do the live production every week, which means I bring my computer and set it up with our ring light. Yeah, it doesn't have to be fancy, but the consistency has helped. I know, though, that type of thing doesn't work for every brand. So we've tried some different things with some of my other clients, and the short form videos are really what's getting more traction now, like the reels, the TikToks. And so that's what I'm doing with most of my clients. But for some reason, because of some crazy phenomenon, this particular live show has worked really well. And that's what social media is all about, is testing what works, testing what drives traffic, and watching your analytics and making sure that what you're doing makes sense.
Any other questions or comments for Emmy?
I want to be a guest sampler.
You want to be a guest sampler?
I wish she was closer.
We have a lot of guest samplers. We're having a brewery owner on tomorrow. So that's going to be really fun.
Oh, that will be fun. Well, you know, it's like a 6-hour drive. I mean.
Well, yeah, might be worth it.
And if you've ever heard of Toppling Goliath, that's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. So you could visit that brewery too. It's known all over the nation.
Funny. All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions or comments, thank you so much, Emmy. This was a pleasure for me, and I really loved having you and getting to see your face. Let's do your giveaway, though. Let me empty this out from last week. Does everybody have a business card with them? If not, we'll get out sticky notes. So do you want to talk about what this giveaway is, Emmy?
Yeah, so we can kind of use it however best fits for your business and where you're at on your social media journey. If you are sort of already down the path, you have a social media manager or something like that, we can use it as a question and answer session or a strategy session. And then there will also be I'm going to create 9 custom templates that are branded for you that you can use on your own social media. I can do those for Facebook or Instagram, or transition them so that you can use them for both. I hope that would be helpful to somebody. How many of you are on social media with your business?
Everybody else have one. I got Gordon.
Unfortunately, my industry is so
I just recommend
compliance
sticking-
heavy that we don't do any social media unless it's approved by compliance. It's, yeah.
Oh,
I
you
have
probably.
heard that. That's super tricky.
Yeah.
All right, I got Jody and Ingrid. I put you in the drawing there too. Is that everybody?
I think so.
All right.
Got everybody right?
All right. Rob Sanders, you are the winner. Is that something, do you just want me to send you his email or?
Yeah, that
how
would
do
be
you wanna share
perfect if
that?
that works for him.
Does that work for you, Rob?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Woo.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for being here in person and on Zoom. I really appreciate it. Take some coffee with you. Ray made the coffee this week. You don't have to endure my bad coffee anymore.
Blame me.
Stick around, mingle. Next week, we will have Kat Leverett with, she is launching a brand new, also marketing business, Clever Connections. And she has a special announcement about some exciting things she's going to be doing here with the Focus Suites. And I want to thank our sponsors, Community Development Resources, for providing the coffee that Ray now gives to me. So thank you so much, everyone, and we will see you next Thursday.
All right. Thanks for having me.